Okay, well, hello again, friends, if you are watching. Sorry for the slight delay. Just took a little bit longer to load up than I was expecting. Get set up, but everything looks like it's running good now. Hope you can hear me okay. You find us pretty much where we left off. I had to slew the airplane into position. Not slew, but use the map in X-plane. And we're back on the same ramp, which is the eastern apron. I don't know if this is an accurate parking place, to be fair, or actually if it would be parked up over here, but we are where we are, and it's pretty quiet, although there is tower and approach on. So, that's a bit different. I've left all the bits in, just as you can see, there'd be a little bit of a road here with some markings, cones out anyway, we're closed to get rid of all of those. Imagine we've done the walk around, and we will. That should open if you click on it. We will fuel the aeroplane up. So why don't we do that before we do anything else? Having a look at the fuel, we're going to go to Shoreham just because it's a pretty short runway, but I think we can get it. And we'll have to do the performance to see if we can. We've got a full aeroplane and a fair amount of luggage, which means that we are almost at max takeoff. I've actually given a slightly lighter 930 kilos payload, because of course that's only an estimate. As you can see here, it's a very short flight time, not very long at all. We're going up to 290 and we need 1.1 tons of fuel. So let's get this on the battery. 885, I had to reset that to where I left it. It'd be nice if it remembered the last fuel state. And we are going to ask for 1130. So, test the lamp, they work. That shut off works. And there's the airplane fueling. While we're doing that, we could, of course, have a look. We'd be doing the walk around, checking the lights, popping the bags in, or at least the FO would do, unless, of course, you're single crewed. This is your own trusty steed and operated single pilot. There's the GPU connector, so we can open that up. And we've just been loaded up with 1135. So let's turn on the GPU. 1135, that's fine, 5 kilos extra. It's the airplane fueled. Let's therefore jump in. So I've got switches mapped so I can do these on the hardware now, which is good. That helps. Let's turn the jet on. And we can pop the lights on. 2005, 2105, correction. Let it do its tests. So pop the oxygen in.
TOS system test, okay.
Bustize auto. It's set to auto, we'll do the tests in a moment. Works pumps off. Correction, pumps are on auto. Cross feeds off.
TCAS test. Pass.
And everything else, we would of course check all the lights. Both stop, both off. Levers are idle, brakes on. Hardware matches, maps up. Got dispatch pressure. Arm emergency lights. Nav lights on. Tests.
Fire. 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 Fire.
All of the enunciators checked just to make sure they work.
Stall. 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 Stall.
Good. So those checked. We finished fueling, so the belts can actually go on. We'll leave the pumps off, leave the ECS off, the engine, excuse me, engine ignition to auto. It says there's a couple of people watching, so if you are, please say hi. And it's pretty much our scan done. So standard pressure set here gives us a pressure altitude of 320. Let's have a listen to the ATIS, shall we? Go to COM2 3467.
Scattered 2,000 feet, temperature +10, dew point +8, QNH 1012, QFE 1003. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo, and advise aircraft type on first contact. Jersey information Kilo, time 1850 Zulu, runway in use 26, transition level flight level 65, surface, wind 280, 17, gusting 27 knots, visibility 10 kilometers, or more showers in the vicinity. Forward cumulonimbus 1,500 feet, scattered 2,000 feet, temperature +10, dew point +8, QNH 1012, QFE 1003. Acknowledge receipt of information Kilo, and advise aircraft type on first contact.
Happy, I'm going to leave that set and just mute it, so that's good. Put the tower on, and 1252 is approach. So we have done all our checks. Alexa on. Fuel 1135. Just scribbling that down all over the flight plan. We're going to definitely do our performance on the ground because we're not really going to have much time. We could take an extra 500 kilos. Is that an aeroplane moving over there, or is that just a static one? As you can see here, I've given us an additional 30 minutes fuel as well, and our alternators will fold back to base if we need to, and if anything it's going to be weather rather than performance related. So we have a zero fuel weight, not quite, of 6450. We've got 5500 plus 930 gives us 6430, and plus 1135. Of course, it is going to be lower for taxi, but I don't know quite exactly how much. So we're going to expect, we're going to plan for 7565. Which is our ramp weight. I mean, you could easily knock 15 kilos off that and go 7550, but unless it's going to give you a performance advantage like knocking you down a weight bracket, then there's not a huge amount of point in doing that. Like I said, pressure altitude of 1000, to the wind 280, 17 gust 27, so a 10 knot headwind, 20 degrees off. Is about a quarter, so at least 10-12 knots headwind approximately, so we can plan for that 10 if we need it. I'll pop the overlay on so you guys can see that. Now let's have a chat with tower, get our clearance, and then we can start planning. There is traffic over there. Jesse Tower, good evening, Ascot 1502.
1502, good evening sir, pass your message.
Ascot 1502 is a Phenom 300 information kilo QNH 1012, Eastern Apron, request departure clearance to Shoreham please.
Ascot 152, you are cleared over to Shoreham, or TAC 1, Charlie departure, squawk in, apologies sir, that's a correction, ORIST 1 Charlie departure, squawk in 1235.
To Shoreham, ORIST 1 Charlie departure, squawk 1235, Ascot 1502.
Ascot 1502, readback is correct. When ready, call engine start and taxi.
Wilco, Ascot 1502, thanks. So 1235, can knock that down. PFD we need to set up. So
Jersey Tower, good evening, Glenn. 7007 Papa, Boeing 737-600 on stand 4 with information Kilo QNH 100, collection 1012, requesting clearance to Bristol. 7007 Papa, very good evening, Trevor. You are cleared to Bristol, Scary 3 Alpha departure. Squawk in 1,
now
2,
ORIST
3,
is
6.
tops 5 and there's no intermediates, so we can set that and we're clear.
Scary 3 Alpha departure and squawk 1236, 7007 Papa. 790 Papa, read back correct. When ready, call push and start. Local 7007 Papa.
So ORIST, not Autotake, don't get it wrong, ORIST, and we are going to load airway, and it's quite a few steps, but it's not for very long. Cruise is not long at all. Lima 982, and that's to TELTU, and then it is direct. Echo Golf Kilo Alpha. So procedure wise, departure we have been cleared. It's ORIST 1 Charlie. Really, ORIST and AUTAC, a little bit confusing. So let's load that, check those outs. Above 2, above 3, and tops at 5 over Alderney. Yes, it does. So that's going to be our stop, which is a lot easier than the intermediate levels off because we don't, of course, have VNAV in the climb. And then inbound, there's no arrivals, so you can check that there, none. But we are going to plan the RMP 420. Now, having a look.
Got India 0 Chapter, requesting basic service to the south, and then we're going to follow the coast around the island.
I think Bitly would probably be better, where we could just go straight to vectors. Bitly's sort of over here, and we're going to be coming in this way, so can't hurt. And the minimum is a 760 for this approach. So we're not going to have time to do this in the air. Where are we? There we go. Right, so all of those are there. I don't think we want 22 there, so I think we're happy to come in a little bit high for a continuous descent. So if you clear that, it's pre-accepted and that will disappear. What I am going to do is give us a little bit of leeway by putting 760 there so that we get some VNAV guidance on the way in. And that should, because it's a direct line, it's probably going to be a little bit out. So the descent will be a little bit early, but it's better, I think, to be early than to be horrifically late. So I'm happy with that so far. So there's our plan.
Golf Hotel Alpha, you are cleared. VFR Island Tour, departing to the south. VFR, not above 3,500 feet. Squawk in 3636.
Clear for VFR Island Tour to the south of 1,500 feet, 36 stop at south.
So we said pressure altitude of 1,000.
So when ready, call engine start.
Let's see if we can get away with flap 1.
We're actually ready now for engine start, Golf Hotel Alpha.
And we're
Hotel
76.
Alpha engine start is approved. Outside temperature is +10. When ready, call taxi.
Engine not approved, outside temperature +10, and 14, when ready.
10 degrees, 975.
7007 Papa, we're ready, push and start. 7007 Papa, push and start is approved. Face east, call for taxi. Push and start approved, facing east, 7007 Papa.
So of course we are going to be lighter, but we're not going to be 7.2 lighter. And of course that's nil wind, flap 1, and the takeoff distance.
Jersey Tower, this is Cessna 172.
We can actually go from Foxtrot.
Northwest corner, 1,100 feet to land runway 27, Alex 428.
So taxiway Foxtrot gives us 1129.
Very good evening, sir. Report runway inside runway 26, Jersey QNH 1012.
So for our arrival, it's going to be windy.
My apologies, runway 26 and QNH 1012, and airport is now in sight, Alex 428.
So our route fuel should be 300 kilos. Obviously, taking off the taxi fuel as well.
28 direct Fremont TB mask, please.
Just 350.
Roger, flight direct to the Fremont TV mask, Alex 428.
Golf Hotel ready, taxi.
Golf Hotel Alpha, taxi hard point Golf, runway 26, Jersey QNH 1012.
Golf runway 26, Jersey
So,
QNH 1012.
I'm going to plan for 7.4, and if we end up 7.2, I'm going to do the figures for as well. But what we're not going to do is flap 1, flap 3, because on arrival at Shoreham, the landing distance available beyond the threshold for runway 20 is 798 meters. So we'd be limited for departure as well. We're not going to take a full tour out. So 7.4 can we get in? If not, we've then got to do the performance at 7.2. So the pressure altitude is ever so slightly above sea level, so happy to take 0.
Ready for taxi. 7007 Papa, via Alpha, taxi hold point Alpha 1, runway 26, Jersey QNH is still 1012.
So 804
Alpha 1 for runway 26, QNH
is going to be close, but that is flap 3. We go flap full, wing stab off.
Report fully ready for departure.
Fully ready for departure, Golf Hotel.
And that comfortably gives us 780, so
Alpha runway 26 clear for takeoff. Winds are currently 28017 knots, gusting 27.
If they go from runway 26, Golf Hotel.
that's of course making sure that it is perfectly flown, and it still only brings it to 766, so it's going to be relatively tight because there is a displaced threshold, so we do need to get the airplane down and stopped with flap full. 798 does not give a lot of room for error. It's a little bit uncomfortable. However,
Alex 428,
weather,
continue your current heading, sir. I'm just going to slide you in behind a Boeing 737.
it's 27014.
Continue
We're
current
expecting
heading.
215,
Thank you, Alex 428.
which starts to bring it back
Tower, good evening, KLM mainland 2, we have full established.
to a much more comfortable figure.
26, proceeding a visual approach because we have the autopilots blocked. KLM 8902, Roger sir, continue number
But
10.
still not within the 60% rule, so we are going to have to pay attention, get the aeroplane down, stable, and bang on VREF. So it's going to be close if there's no wind, but we know it's going to be at least 10 knots. So 738 makes it a little bit more comfortable, but still quite close. 724, so we are going to have to nail our speeds. So 738, 724. full flap, so let's go back and get the speeds. I did it, there we go. Land flap full, ice protection on off, wings down off, and that's going to give us 114, 130. That's the wrong way round, isn't it? Because that's, which way does this do it? BAC, EFS.
KLM 892, runway 26, clear to land, winds 28017 knots, gusting 27.
Clear to land, copy the wind there, KLM 892, thank you.
So, set those now.
8, turn right heading 260, report final.
We'll work out the fuel to figure out which one we'll be falling into.
Turn right heading 260 and report final, Alex 428.
Hotel Alpha, contact Jersey Control 125.
That was awful.
7 Airs 07 Papa, report fully ready for departure.
We are fully ready, 7 Airs 07 Papa.
7 Airs 07 Papa, after the landing.
So 7565 as I said.
7 line up away behind runway 26.
Behind the arriving KLM 737, Alpha 1, runway 26, line up away behind 7 Airs 07 Papa.
Alex 428, reduced to minimums.
Reduce the minimum, Alex 428.
So 72 is when we're at 770 fuel. $970 on the fuel is us at 7.4. So if we're at anything above 970, that's going to throw our performance into the next band, and it's probably going to make it even worse for landing. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We need to land at 970. Our alternate, our minimum fuel is final reserve, and the alternate is 459.
Mate 902, welcome into Jersey, vacate left when able.
So we're set up for the arrival, and on the off chance, we're just going to pop these figures down as well, 111, 126, in case we end up at 570. And that would bring back even more.
Mate 9. And the 2 continue taxi, let's stand 5.
Stand 5, KLM.
So set 160 as a reminder.
7 Airs
Get the belts on, imagine
07
the
Papa, runway 26,
punters are getting on board.
28017 knots, gusting 27.
Clear for takeoff 26, 7 Airs 07 Papa.
So charts for Shoreham, we got the RMP, there's no other charts there to worry about. Got Jersey charts. There we go.
Jersey Tower on final, runway 26 to land, Alex 428.
Alex 428, continue approach at number 2, no speed.
Continue approach, number 2, Alex 428.
So, imagine the punters are all sat down and getting ready to go. Oh, that's what I can do, signs out there, that one could go on. Got a spare 3-way.
78007
Switch.
Contact Jersey Control 125.2. Have a good flight, Trevor. Bye
Got
bye.
that tuned and ready.
125.2, thanks very much, Glenn. Good to speak to you again. 7 Airs 07 Papa.
So,
Alex 428, runway 26, clear to land, winds 28017 knots, gusting 27.
Clear to land, runway 26, Alex 428.
our departure will be fun for the directional control, I'm sure. But what I might do is disconnect. That could go wrong, disconnecting the nose wheel. Anyway, if you are still watching, please say hi, and we'll get this show on the road. So pre-flight tests completed, and the oxygen bottle is on and dispatchable. Elect. We got 127 volts. Yes, we are on ground power. GPU is on. Lead panels all auto. Fuel pumps auto. Crossfeed off. Hydraulic pumps open. Pusher cutout is pushed out. Ice protection as required. I'm going to pop the windshield heating on. Don't know why they don't. Why not? Maybe it just wears it out. Pressurization. The alt is 300 and the landing field is 6, which is correct. I think it's 7, but Close enough. Start EIS fires. Sorry, pushed out, bottles off. Those are both set to stop. Those are both set to auto. Thrust levers are idle. Speed brakes up, parking brakes on. We can get to shut the door. And we are good to start. That's got 1502 on the eastern apron, request engine start.
That's got 1502, engine start is approved, sir. Outside temperature is +10, when ready, call taxi.
Start approved, Wilco. That's got 1502, thanks. So it's...
Got 1502, my apologies, sir. Do you require a push tonight?
Negative, sir, we'll self-taxi. That's got 1502.
1502, roger.
So it's 2030, which is meant to be our out time, but sorry, 1930. Zulu, we've got 1135 on board. Check with the ground crew that we are clear to start, and we will start engine number 2. Little push button, and off it goes. Watch those generators come on automatically. There it goes, kicks in, so everything starts to stabilize. Going to disconnect the GPU. Signal to disconnect.
Okay, then to all the blocks.
Cannon mate 902, roger, sir. I'll close your flight plan 1929. Thanks for the traffic, sir. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye, thanks for being us. I can see you, good night.
And we'll start engine number 1. Of course, checking with the ground crew.
Alex 428, welcome into Jersey. Vacate left when able, and to the Aero Club, please.
I don't even know where the Aero Club is.
Vacate
Oh, I think it's round the top.
and taxi to the Aero Club, Alex 428.
So we can accept a Foxtrot intersection, don't forget, even with no wind. So we've got 2 stable engines, GPU's disconnected, and AIRBORNE emergency 23.5 we've got. AIRBORNE emergency is pushed out, we've got 28. Still protection, not going to test. Takeoff data is set, trims all green, takeoff trim is set. Flight controls, full forward, full aft, full left, full right. Rudder, right rudder, need to check the speed brake. Again, that caution there is not modelled. Set back to closed. Ice protection as required, we've got the windshield heat on. And it's a flap 1 departure. Travel set. That's got 1502, request taxi, we can accept a Foxtrot intersection departure.
That's got 1502, roger, sir. Via Juliet and Alpha, taxi hold point Foxtrot, runway 26, Jersey QNH is still 1012.
Taxi runway 26 via Juliet Alpha, hold Foxtrot QNH 1012, Ascot 1502. Good, so we are cleared to taxi. 263 is the runway heading, so make sure that's set.
30 now, speedbird 2772, with you ILS runway 267 miles.
Speedbird 2772,
So
good evening,
clear left,
sir. Continue
clear right.
Number 1.
Continue approach, speedbird 2772, thank you.
I think the brakes work. Yes, they do. So we are going to go left down here out of Juliet. Actually use a little bit of differential thrust, shall we? Quite a lot of power to get us moving, we are quite heavy.
Speedbird 2772, runway 26 clear to land. Winds are currently 28020 knots, gusting 34.
So we've been cleared all the way round.
Runway 26,
Juliet and Alpha.
Advised on the wind, Speedbird 2772.
Mark, hello. Thanks for joining. It is quite a nice evening. I tell you what, it's been some very interesting weather in the UK recently. There's definitely hail where I live today. It's an aeroplane or a ground light? Street light. Looks a little bit sparse out here, doesn't it? The airfield. You put quite a lot of clutter on when you've got exclusion zones, as I've found out from my scenery design. Maybe a little bit quick in the turn, eh? So we're taxiing along Alpha to Foxtrot.
Takeoff. Okay.
Okay, configs checked. Size are checked. A bit of a thump. I'm going to follow this taxiway around.
2772, welcome into Jersey, sir. Vacate to the left when able.
Slam on the brakes. Now he's going.
Vacate left, Speedbird 2772.
Okay, your damper is off. Ice protection not required. ETR, well, it doesn't go green. Should do. Packs advise. Lights transponder. Although of course the transponder will do it itself.
Speedbird 2772, runway vacated.
Speedbird
Something
2772,
big coming in.
continue taxi, sir, onto Bravo, onto Alpha, stand 1.
Something little over there at the flying club. I guess that is where the flying club is. That light aircraft brass right down the top.
Speedbird 2772, thank you.
So we are effectively good to go. So it will be our next left. Even with that being regular braking, it's still a little bit aggressive.
Ascot 1502, report fully ready for departure.
Fully ready, Ascot 1502.
Ascot 1502, runway 26, clear for takeoff, winds are 28020 knots, gusting 34, no delay.
Clear takeoff, runway 26, Ascot 1502. So we've checked. Oh, it's a lot of power to get going. So we'll be taking off with about 1100. 35 kilos for taxi is less
Approaching
than that.
26.
Okay, current runway, correct heading.
On runway
Lights,
26.
Action, power, let's get the engine stable. Toga. There you go, lock the nose wheel. E1, rotate.
Speedbird 2772 is on the block, thank you very much.
Plenty of distance. Whoa.
Speedbird 2772.
Twitchy.
Register, close your flight.
What's
plan
over?
1339.
Gear up.
Thanks for the traffic, sir. Have a good evening.
You too, sir.
Flap up. Climb thrust. There we go, get the airplane settled down.
Haswell 1502, contact Jersey Control 125.2. Have a good flight, bye bye.
125.2, thanks very much for the service. Escort 1502, bye bye. Jersey Control, good evening. Ascot 1502. ORIST 1 Charlie, passing altitude 2,300, climbing altitude 5,000.
Ascot 152, Jersey Control, very good evening. Climb now, flight level 190.
Climb now, flight level 190, Ascot 1502. I can.
Golf Southwest overheading northwest corner of the island.
Golf Hotel Alpha, your intentions from there, please.
Oh, we're still roll. I thought I hit nav.
We'd like
It's a bit aggressive.
That's alright, Golf Alpha.
Hotel Alpha, sorry, you broke up, say? Yep.
Our intentions are to distracted. That's alright, Golf Alpha.
To rejoin, okay, no worries. Hold at the northwest corner, contact the tower 119.145, good night.
Hold the northwest corner, tower 119.45. Thank you for that. Have a good night.
That's pretty cool. So this is a max 210, and it's max 210 for the next one, but we will accelerate. So Jersey Whiskey 02 is max 210. Still
Altimeter
max
setting.
Of course we were cleared to a flight level, not that it makes much difference. Okay. Great reminder. Off to take off, gear up, flaps up, full damper is on, maximum climb thrust, we're going to set pressurization. It is climbing steady, it's not going free, the diff pressure is not zero. Altimeter's cross checked, yes. Noise protection as required, yes. The lighting is as required. So we might not get into Shoreham at this rate.
Specsavers 1, right turn heading 200 degrees.
Is that a real call sign? I don't think it is.
003, Specsavers 1.
SSZ. Don't know if that is real. Anyway, we can go to 250. Actually, why don't we do 225? Lights can come off, settle down a bit. So let everyone use their devices, and we'll let them know once we're sure that it's calmed down a bit. Drift, isn't it? So I think we'll be speaking to London South next. Might not be.
Speedbird 277 Hotel, left turn heading 150 degrees left, is now ILS runway 26. 150, left is the 26, speed ready.
Definitely doesn't help that we are a relatively light airframe as well, getting buffeted about by all the wind. So our actual cruise was 290. So they're all still set. If we get given a direct, we can do that as well. There we go. So even at almost max takeoff weight, it's still 3,000 feet a minute climb. I know it's our best rate.
Control, A-line 358 with you again. What runway for landing at Guernsey?
So 970, we're out 74.
A-line 358, Jersey Control, good evening.
Easy.
1 Yankee arrival, information to Echo QNH 1012, landing runway 27. When you're ready, descend flight level 80.
Okay, Guernsey 1 Yankee arrival, runway 27. Information Echo, Neo, and when ready, descend to flight level 10,000 for A-line 358.
A-line 358, correction to that, descend flight level 80.
Okay, correction. Descend flight level 80, what, immediate or when ready?
Sorry, when you're ready.
Copy that, when ready, descend 80.
So there's a DME at Shoreham, I think.
Specsavers 1, left turn heading 070 degrees.
There's an NDB which we can't tune.
70 degrees, Specsavers 1. Specsavers 1, descend altitude 2,000 feet. Descend altitude 2,000 feet, Specsavers 1. Speedbird 277, hotel after the take through the ILS establishing from the south, right turn heading 10 degrees, descend altitude 3,000 feet. Descending 3,000 and just get the heading go through this circle hotel. Speedbird 277 hotel, right turn heading 210 degrees. Right to 210 Speedbird 277 hotel. Ascot 1502, route direct ORIST.
Direct ORIST, Ascot 1502.
Ascot 1502, contact launch control on 129.425, good night.
London 129, decimal 425. Thanks very much for the service. Have a great evening. Ascot 1502.
Easy 18 Echo Tango, contact Gatwick Director 126, decimal 825, bye-bye. Gatwick Director 126, decimal 825, have a great Monday, Easy 18 Echo Tango. Sure.
London, good evening. Ascot 1502. Flight level 190, direct ORIST.
Ascot 1502, good evening, climb flight level 290.
Climb flight level 290, Ascot 1502.
Easy 555, contact Gatwick Director 126, decimal 825, goodbye.
Gatwick Director 126, decimal 825, have a good evening, goodbye.
Goodbye. Delta 43 is unrestricted climb. Unrestricted climb, Delta 43. Easy 53 X-ray Delta, descent flight level 90. Flight level 90, easy 53 X-ray Delta. Delta 43, report you're heading now to London on 126, decimal 075, good day. 126.075, Delta 43, have a great day.
What I am looking for is Goodwood VOR.
Qatari 3 Foxtrot, Romeo, hello, taxi
see a label
straight
for.
and hold at November, Bravo 1.
You better bring the speed. No, decimal 6, so we're good. Just means the changeover's a bit early.
Easy 53 X-ray Delta, call Gatwick Director 126, decimal 825, bye-bye. Director 126, decimal 825, easy 53 Delta, have a good night.
So we just cut off going over Alderney there to ORIST. A little bit of a shortcut.
QT2534, contact Brussels radar 131.1, bye-bye.
131.
In fact,
134, have a great evening, sir. Bye-bye.
in fact, there won't be anyone there because they've just logged off. It's going to be Unicom 122, okay?
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Scandinavian 527, descent 2,000 feet. 2,000 feet, Scandinavian 527. Scandinavian 527, turn left, heading 260 degrees, cleared island, 27 left. Could I get the heading again? Yep, turn left, heading 255. 255, cleared 27 left, Scandinavian 527. All stations, London broadcast, I have to close unfortunately. 102 Unicom please, 122.8 London is going to close, 122.8 London out. Bye.
Thanks, see ya.
Have a good evening.
Oh, that's a shame. He went off pretty quick. Wonder what that was about. So we are going to be well and truly on our own into Shoreham. Unless there's tower or anything, which there does also appear to be. Sometimes they do get staffed up. It's clearly Jersey night on a Monday. London West and nobody else, so if we do need to divert again, we're on our own. So once we get to top of the climb, here we go. So pretty busy departure, especially when it's bumpy. The airplane is incredibly sensitive in pitch, certainly in the sim. I'm going to explain it is. And we are only off out in this direction, that you can see where we're going. And then we've got the missed approach hold, which is nice, and we're going to want to go sort of like straight in that direction, so we can afford to descend a little bit late, I reckon. Our cruise was meant to be 60 and then 72. Our capture. And I would have thought oh, 10 seconds, so we're going straight down. So I'm actually going to leave it a little bit later. Because that was, I think that is going to be a little bit early. So I mean, it's pretty much straight up, straight down, to be fair. It would have been nice to have London on to give us a rough bit of track mileage. I think 109.95 I've got chin, but that's a terminal DME, so the range is not particularly good. And the OFP says top of descent should have been between VATSIM. If so, that I don't think is correct, so that would leave it out over here. What does the aircraft look like? Oh, well, Mark, brace your ears. Like a teeny tiny pocket rocket with a very simple roundel and flag combination, courtesy of myself. I tell you what, let's instead change VNAV to something a bit more realistic, like 2,000 feet above the field. We should already be in descent, but at least that gives us a bit of a better update. So let's start heading down. Do 10 initially. Bridge briefing complete. Well, we noticed the RMP and we've done all the performance. If we get down to 770, we can have the slower speeds, but we've planned for 7.4 tons. We might get down to 770, but we also may not. So that's why it was worth planning worst case, because I've scribbled them all down. The advantage is I can just update the speeds. Good to go. And we know that it's going to be close. Not forgetting there is a flap, full flap arrival. We'll probably take a heading mode rather than go direct to the airport and head out over this direction before going direct to, just to make sure we know what's going on. And remember, I removed that at, so it's going to be a continuous descent, hopefully. In reality, even 1,000 feet above the field is worthwhile for figuring out joining the pattern, etc. You can see actually the aeroplane does come down pretty quick, 3,000 feet a minute. Maybe a little bit uncomfortable for the guys in the back. But what do you expect on a very short flight? So, what are we looking at wind-wise? So, weather, I didn't get that because I was expecting. We've got 1850 Zulu 2708. That's going to give us less of a headwind, that's almost all crosswind. 10k vicinity showers if you want to. Now bearing in mind we did plan with 10 knots, so it's actually going to be pretty sketchy. 1005 is QNH. You see we're almost back on VNav. And we'll just start bringing the speed back a little bit as well. Actually, no, we're still quite high. So you can see it really isn't an idle path descent. Idle path descent is pretty spectacular in this, so maybe, just maybe, SimBrief was right that we could get away with level change descent from just south of the Isle of Wight. Who knows? So we got no ATC, nothing to see, through traffic, nothing else. There is the Isle of Wight. Seen it but never been. So yeah, I hope you like the aircraft markers. Actually, if we nice shot. I'm sure you guys can't see any of the instruments because it's bad enough for me. So I do have that view, but appreciate that's not ideal, although it does let you see outside, whereas if you pop the screens out they take up, I suppose they probably take up about the same amount of space, but they just cover it up a bit more. Ideally you need some hardware to make the most of this. I suppose I could go a little bit closer, but with such a wide aspect view, it does of course, well it's no narrower, it's just wider, isn't it? Looks like there's Gatwick traffic pootling around in front of us. We've got Odium, Farnborough, Southampton is there. I think what that is. Sorry, no, Blackbush, Farnborough, that's Odium. I think what that is. Lasham? Yeah, Lasham for the gliding. So, as you can see, we haven't got long to think about this. I'm going to head about this way, maybe into a sort of downwind. So if we just turn the reciprocal, which is 201 inbound, so we'll go 021, try and track 021. So let's go 020, that's going to be good enough. You can see we are picking up the DME for Shoreham. It gives you a phantom. It gives you a phantom direction based on the GPS, though I am not quite sure. I suppose now I've got these mapped, I can probably just squeeze in a little bit closer. So at least the wind's calmed down, but it gives us a lack of performance. It's just all crosswind. But don't forget, we've really got to get the airplane back on the ground. Got to nail VREF, then get the brakes straight on. So cabin isn't descending just yet. So DH set for the approach. Cross feed is not needed. 770. We might end up burning 50 kilos. Probably will, to be fair. So I'll set 112 on 128. So 1,000 to go, we're at 240 for 10. There we go, we'll keep going down to 6. The transition out is 6,000, so probably wouldn't be flight level 60. So speed, lights on. So let's do a turn to the left. That might have been a bit keen, to be fair. You can see there's our waypoint. So let's go level change. Make sure the airplane comes down. And we will activate the approach, not the vector to final. That'll give us a direct 2. Should give us a VNAV. Funnily enough, we are too low. So let's go nav back on track. we're just going to use a little bit of power. We're in flight level change, so that should reduce our rate of descent. Just try and match that target. Bearing in mind we are going to need to slow down at some point. Shoreham traffic, Ascot 1502 inbound, expecting RMP runway 20 direct Bitly, estimated time Bitly is 2008. So we've got 3 minutes to run, and our absolute minimum is 2,200, so let's set that. Set 1005. Got some traffic out to our side. Now this guy is coming into Shoreham. I've called up, so we can do one fundamentally. So procedure max. Anyway, the mist is 2-2 again. I'll see a speed limit, but we are going to. So we are low. We have got some energy that we can lose. So we'll start bringing the speed back. So I'm going to use a little bit of speed brake to help get the speed back. I do want to get the fuel down as well. So we'll happily trundle around at 180. Could be a little bit more aggressive, but it wouldn't necessarily help. So there we go, they're not quite continuous, well, aiming for the continuous descent. 160. Let's go flap 1. Shoreham traffic, Ascot 1502, overhead, Bitly, inbound, RMP, runway 20, Shoreham traffic. So there we are, 2,200. We will level off, that's the mist as well. Happy to let the speed come back. It's not particularly efficient, but we'll live with it. This guy is definitely inbound. He's clearly not doing anything. Let's go flap 2, get the aeroplane under control nice and early. Short traffic, Ascot 1502, final RMP 20. So we haven't intercepted yet, we've still got a level segment. There's the airfield. Going to check, we're within 1 dot, and LNAV plus V, yes, it's not. What is it not? It's not LPV. But there you go, glide path V, so vertical guidance, so we cannot approach 130, we're maintaining quite nicely. And if this guy chooses not to call up, I'm just going to get in his way.
Shoreham traffic, Golf Charlie Hotel Alpha Romeo, right hand downwind 420, full stop landing.
And Ascot 1502 has you in sight. So let's get the gear down. Let's get the flaps all the way back and start bringing the speed back because he's taking his time now. We called up all the way down, and if he cuts us up and gets in the way, which is what he appears to be doing. It's just irritating. What on VATSIMers, I've been calling all the way down. There's our ref at 112, which is actually a little bit slow. That's got 1502 going around.
Autopilot.
Shoreham traffic, Golf Charlie Hotel Alpha Romeo final 20 to land. Shoreham traffic.
Mate, like I've been calling up all the way. This is what happens when nobody tells them what to do. So let's go heading. And I'll tell you what, let's just keep going all the way around to the left. Autopilot's on. Speed up to 180. I've got flap up, gear is up. Uh, 060. We'll just self-position for this. Anti-ice is all on.
Shoreham traffic, Golf Alpha Romeo over runway vacated. Shoreham traffic.
021. Just check its call sign. So, let's start bringing the speed back a bit, shall we? Actually got this level segment here. Is that mandatory too? We can go straight to KO20F. Let's do that. Okay, right, also we'll update that in a moment. David Hagger at Stansted. Good effort, but like, you screwed up a jet and that's a lot of money. You wouldn't do it in reality, but then in reality you get told what to do, so. On the plus side, it brings our fuel back within 112. So let's go something like 231. Can we get away with that? Maybe, maybe not. Just goes to show the lack of situational awareness, really. Right, let's go. Direct there. Nav. Flap 1. Let's add a little bit of power. Gear is up. Don't have time to argue. Reply. I just sent a message saying that you could have at least extended. We are steaming down. You know, at twice the speed. He said, sorry, you only saw me, but I mean, in fairness, you couldn't really have missed. I made 3 calls because I knew there was traffic. Anyway, we're on the approach. It's going to be pretty tight getting in. Golf Charlie Hotel Alpha Romeo Ascot 1502 radio check. Maybe he did. Oh well, whatever. So let's arm the approach. Gear down, flap 3. Flap is travelling. Gear down 3 green. Landing flap not set. Short traffic Ascot 1502 final ROP runway 20, 4.5 miles. So landing flap selected. Speed brakes up. Go around is 2,200 and set. Ice protection no longer required. Still got a stiff old crosswind. And it's bumpy as well. Maybe he doesn't hear me because he's deaf. See the speed even at idle bleeds off very, very slowly. Slowly enough that I guess it can catch you out, can't it? So 114 we want to nail, even though it's gusty. At least it's steady.
500. Minimums.
Continue.
Approaching 202,400 feet. Available.
Don't want to be high. And it's a narrow runway as well. There we are, back on. Don't really want to be slow. These trees are a bit worrying.
200. 100.
Long landing.
Get the
Long
airplane
landing.
down.
2,000 remaining.
I'll get the flaps up as well. That's just usual normal braking. Whoa. And we made it. Wow, that was impressive. 753. And it's 2021. Now I've got to try and taxi off here. So I think we just vacate and go left. Wow, that was 163. Yep, had to get it down. Bit floaty. This should still be tarmac. Transponders on. We're going to vacate in a moment. Ooh. Or was that like a no entry? Oh well. Short traffic, Ascot 1502, runway vacated. Where are we gonna park? Straight down and do a right somewhere, I guess. So flaps up, trims up, spoilers up. Not bad landing, I do say, knowing that I had to get it down, and the brakes on straight away. That was regular braking, I wasn't standing on the brakes. I guess you guys can still, yeah, my bike's still shoving up at least. No idea where Lima is. Does it say on the chart? It's a Juliet Mike. Let's follow this round and do a right when we can. The rest of the runways are grass. Maybe I'll update this as scenery next. Let's see if we can get on this pan here. Something like this will do us. I think we still need the lights on, sadly. It's not a bad bit of parking if I do say so myself. Mostly from cockpit view. So brakes set, lights off. It is 25. we got 738. So I've got to assign those. We'll have a look in a moment at the landing. Of course, that is it, isn't it? So 163, 108 knots, 1.72, bit of a thump, but we did need to get it down. Bang on the centre line for such a narrow runway. And 636 feet, 194 metres when we only had 700 something to play with is a little bit of a float, but I suppose probably within the touchdown zone, isn't it? Got to reduce it appropriately. Anyway, let's have a look, see if there's any other traffic around. Don't think there is. That's a nice Art Deco terminal in reality, so somebody's done a nice enough job of modelling it, I suppose. They've put a bit of effort to try and get that balcony and stuff. Good effort, really, although I think there's an Art Deco terminal that looks quite good. See just how short it is. It'll be fun trying to get out of here. A few grass runways. Nice dusk / nighttime landing and approach. Brightness down here. Obviously loads of traffic going into Gatwick, so let's disconnect. Finish the flight in projectFLY. Oh, that says 263, not 163. I might try Volanta. Getting a little bit fed up with projectFLY. I managed to lose a flight and couldn't import it. And I raised the ticket, nothing happened. So maybe we'll give Volanta a go. Let's have a look at the replay, shall we? Probably watch it from here. Run it backwards, see how quick this happens. Focus on the aeroplane. I can, can't I? A bit silly, but I mean, that lighting's pretty good, isn't it? So it's a pretty good looking aeroplane. So what's somewhere here? Right through those trees. Yeah, that was a bit of a thump, wasn't it? But it needed to be. And the directional control is a lot better with the nose wheel turned off, until of course you start slowing down. And that gust of wind is what did that, and you can see that was the point at which I put the nose wheel steering, so something in between two. Thanks Warhawks, just running our way through the replay from a missed approach, and you can see just how little runway we had available to play with, but I thought it was quite nicely done, to be honest. I can give you another look if you want. After takeoff I turned off the nose wheel steering, or sort of locked the nose wheel steering. Hence why that got so rough once the wind hit the tail and we'd slowed down. I think that's just a habit I'll have to get into. Maybe I'll reassign a key for it. I don't think that's too bad. straight on the brakes. And that was regular braking, that wasn't emergency or full braking. There you go, there's the nose wheel working. And that was us arriving at Shoreham and coming to a rather rapid stop. Full flat landing with max payload and probably more fuel than we needed. But the extra, I suppose the extra 30 minutes fuel, 275 kilos, would have taken us down into 7 tons for landing territory, 2 knots lower. I tell a lie. It's only 1 knot lower, but speed squared, so it would have made a little bit of difference. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. Getting out may be a little bit difficult, so we're going to have to do a short trip, not much fuel. Although you can't defuel this, so we've got 738 kilos left on board. You can't defuel this jet, so you'd either have to run it. I don't even think, well, maintenance must have a way of doing it, but you can't do it like you can an airliner. You can't suck the fuel out. So that's going to be fun. And maybe that's a job for tomorrow, preferably in daylight, I suppose. But welcome to Brighton, somewhere different. I've only ever been here in the car to have a look around the place. I've never flown in because it's darned expensive. Warthogs, you're in the States, and there's no such thing as landing fees. Well, there are here, and I think if you want to go to Brighton, it's about 25 quid. What's that, $35 just to land here? That's without fuel or anything else. So it would obviously be a lot more for the Phenom. I'm talking about a light single. So I suppose we could have gone. Could we have gone right down to the end? It looks like there's a taxi over there. It was difficult to make out. Maybe. Oh yeah, I suppose we can actually. We had quite a lot of runway left, so we made it quite well. We broke off early. We could have gone all the way down here and come back up, which is what I was sort of expecting. Anyway, that's another Phenom trip. I think I'm getting the hang of it now, just about. Some sketchy weather to sort them in for the boys. The go around yesterday was horrific. Being blown off course towards obstacles, not really wanting to turn, and having the pitch twitchiness never helps. But we made it, and we're all the better for it. So, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for joining a little bit late. And yeah, if you've got an £8 million jet, hey, even if you've got it on a lease, it starts to make a lot of difference. So I don't know what the Phenom is to operate in an hour, but just in fuel, what did we burn there? So going from we started with 1135, we finished with 738. Of course, there's going to be some in the tanks. 397. It's about 80 odd p a litre, so it's about $1 a litre, which is still $4 a gallon for Jet A1 in the States, which is unheard of. You know, that's a £400 trip, so a 25 quid landing fee on top is much smaller than if you're doing a £100 or £200. Or, well, I suppose in fairness, that's just in the fuel, that's not the operating cost. So yeah, the hourly cost of the Phenom, if you owned one, what's it going to be? Probably £1 grand an hour. It's a much smaller. You know, it's 10 times more expensive to operate this than the average 172, I guess. Anyway, that's me done. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed our little dusk trip. I thought it'd be quite nice on the coast, and it was a bit of a challenge. So I think we'll go and try and find some short runways around the world to get into, and maybe find a virtual airline or something to fly for, because my livery is very simple. So there we are, back on stand. Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Should be on tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Till next time. I managed to do. I thought I had the square overlay off, and that's the replay. So until then, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.